Готово, готово.
Окей. Добър вечер. Виждам, че се присъединяват все още участници, но през това време искам да се представя. Аз се казвам Димитър Александров и съм представител на Агенция за образование в чужбина Skylines. Нашата роля, разбира се, е да организираме такъв тип събития и да ви запознаем с различните възможности за обучение в партниращите на нас университети, като през последните 20 години се фокусираме доста върху Италия, организираме събитие Study in Italy и, както виждате, се стараеме през зимно-пролетният сезон да поканим всеки един от нашите партньори да презентира своите програми и да разкажат малко повече за процеса по кандидатстване, необходимите документи и всичко, което е необходимо, за да бъдете успешни кандидат-студенти и по-нататък студенти в Италия. Като нашата роля е, освен да ви съдействаме в целият процес по кандидатстване, е също така да ви насочим по-нататък при успешен прием, да си подготвите необходимите документи за определяне на таксите за обучение, за някои от вас, където е необходимо стипендии, настаняване и всичко, което действително би тревожило студентите и техните родители в процеса по успешно започване на обучение в Италия. Нашата роля е да предадеме опита си и знанията, които сме натрупали, като те за партниращите университети, с които работиме, а, са бе- напълно безплатни нашите услуги, така че възползвайте се от тях. Тази вечер имаме удоволствието Адор да ни разкаже малко повече за а, католическият университет, като моите колеги Ивелина и Елена ще събират въпросите ви, които моля да ги пишете в чат бокса отдолу, за да може да ги събираме на едно място. И накрая на презентацията Ивелина и Ели ще се опитат да ги предадат въпросите на Адор. Надявам се той да може да отговори на всички вас. Като можете да пишете и на английски, може и на български. Нашата роля е да преведем. Well, Ador, it's your turn now.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, my Bulgarian skills are basically not existent, but I think English will be more than enough for all of us today. First and foremost, well, thank you so much, Dimitar, not only for this webinar, but for the tireless work that Skylines, you yourself have been doing during this. I don't know how many years now, frankly speaking. I was like still a high school student when you started doing this. And if it not have been for your amazing work and activities and everything, Italy would not even be on the map for Bulgarian students. Well, my name is Ador Kochiraj. I'm here today representing Universita Cattolica, first as a former international student, such like yourselves one day, hopefully. But second and most importantly, I'm here from the international area of this very university. Well, we're going to go through some basic information, let's say. We're going to start with a brief overview of how the education system in Italy is. We're going to go through some numbers, some statistics, some information about where Università Cattolica is located. We're going to have a look at our actual academic offer, which, well, according to me, would be the most important component of this presentation, what you'd want to study, basically. We're going to also have a look at, well, the boring, I'd like to call it, administrative process, such as the entry requirements, application procedures, the deadlines. And then obviously, we're going to leave some time at the very end of this presentation to answer any questions that you might have. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we start with the big picture. We start with the education system in Italy. You know, different countries would have different education systems, different structures when it comes, to the higher education system. And obviously, Italy has its very own system. We start with the first few steps right after you might have already completed your high school studies. Well, you would be right here. In order for you to be eligible to any given undergraduate program at Universita Cattolica, well, it could be a 3-year bachelor degree. It could be a 6-year program in medicine and surgery. It could be a 5-year program in jurisprudencia, law as well. You would need to have attended or to attend to complete, let's say, a minimum of 12 years of pre-university education. And this requirement right here, well, it's actually a very important one. It's a crucial requirement because here we're defining your eligibility. Like we're not even evaluating your application. We need to determine whether you're eligible. Once you complete this step right here, which is, let's call it the undergraduate step, you can move on to a higher level of education, which I would call the graduate level. Well, when it comes to the graduate level, you could opt for a Master of Science, you could opt for a specializing master, or if you have already completed, let's say, a program in medicine, which basically includes the master within those 6 years, you could jump right away to a PhD. You cannot obviously jump to a PhD once you've completed a 3-year bachelor degree, but you would need to go through this graduate level right here. Another very important distinction that you need to keep in mind, but this is rather, I would have to say, related to your objectives and to your preferences, to what you're willing to study. And well, there are basically two major sectors in Italy. You start with the university sector, where you can find, well, private universities such as Universita Cattolica, public universities, and online universities as well. Well, within this sector, you would find most of the study programs. I would label them as traditional, even though it's kind of an incorrect label, to give them. But let's say you'd want to study economics, psychology, law, medicine, I don't know, finance, marketing, as a matter of fact, humanities as well, political science. You'd have to look for something within this sector right here. If you were to be interested in programs related to design, fine arts, academies of any sort, music conservatories, even, I don't know, national academies of drama, you'd have to look within the AFAM sector. Well, obviously, Skylines will help you whichever your decision would be. But Università Cattolica, if you're looking for a program and an education at Università Cattolica, please know that you can find us within the university sector and not the AFAM sector. Università Cattolica is the largest private institution in Europe. Well, we were founded actually more than 100 years ago, which is quite impressive if you consider the founding dates of most private universities of these dimensions, such as Università Cattolica. We are located in 6 different cities where we have 5 university campuses. We'll notice later why this discrepancy between, cities and the campuses of Università Cattolica. We have 12 faculties, making us quite of a multidisciplinary institution with an overall number of students which reaches the 40,000. And for you to grasp immediately the relevance and the importance of the international community within Università Cattolica, consider that more than 10% of this overall number of students is made of international students, such as myself. unfortunately, a few years ago now, and such as yourselves, hopefully one day. We do closely work with almost 600 partner universities. We're later going to go into that to also understand why that number is important. But it's not just a number. It really makes a huge difference and it really helps in the decision-making process. But we'll get to that later. And in terms of, well, the actual number of programs, Università Cattolica offers more than 250 study programs, both in English and in Italian as well. And since we're talking numbers, since we're dealing with some statistics, with some data, and with some insights, well, obviously the academic quality, the academic excellence is very important. I mean, you'd need to pick a university which not only offers your program of interest, but offers a really good program. Università Cattolica ranks among the top 450 universities worldwide, according to QS, among 40,000 other universities, with 17 subject areas listed among the top 350, always according to QS. So let's say you'd want to study psychology at Università Cattolica. You'd be studying psychology at one of the top 150 universities worldwide. You'd want to study perhaps agriculture. You'd be studying at one of the top 150 universities worldwide. Maybe you'd want to study classic ancient history. You would be studying in one of the top 50 universities worldwide. When it comes to medicine, for example, we are among the top 200 universities worldwide. And well, we can stay and discuss numbers up until tomorrow. But obviously, there are some numbers, there are some insights, some data, some statistic, which is clearly more important than others. I mean, it's pretty easy, let's say, to find an amazing university that offers a great program in economics, in business, in marketing. Like all universities have a department or a subject area or a field of study where they excel. However, when it comes to, guaranteeing an actual return on your investment, there are some data which are clearly more relevant. Those data are related to employment outcomes, to employability opportunities once you have studied, once you have graduated. Well, out of those 40,000 students that we already mentioned, 18,000 students of ours are actually attending an internship as we speak. We have 25,000 companies which are already registered within our databases, making them partners of Università Cattolica. We do publish almost 13,000 internship and job offers each year. And well, I'm not even going to go through the logos and the companies that you see in this very slide because, well, I mean, everybody knows them. We're talking about pretty huge corporates and pretty important names here. And obviously, the university, as no other university, I'd have to say, is not a job agency. However, Università Cattolica would put you in the perfect place of finding an occupation, even while you're still a student, and most importantly, once you have graduated. And you would be putting quite some effort. That's a lot of investment. That's a huge investment that you would be putting into yourselves. That's a huge investment for your families as well, if you want to consider studying abroad. Like that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of time that you would be spending in Cattolica. And there's some money into it as well. So obviously you would want something back. And Cattolica would put you into the best position possible of finding that return on that initial investment. Where is Università Cattolica located? So let's talk about something fancier than numbers and data and rankings and everything. Well, we are located in Milan, Brescia, Piacenza, Cremona, and Rome, and in Bolzano as well. So as we mentioned earlier, we have let's say 5 campuses in 6 different cities because Bolzano is basically a joint effort between Università Cattolica, a medical facility which is called Claudiana, and the University of Bolzano as well. These territories here, these cities, these locations are not randomly picked. Like, let's take Milan, for instance. You know, Milan is the economical capital, the financial hub of the country. And the region where both Milano and Brescia are located contributes to a quarter of the whole country's GDP. It's one of the most industrialized regions in Europe. And you know, it makes sense to offer programs that are related to economics, to business, to finance, marketing, even some STEM-related programs in these two campuses, in this very area right here, from point one to point two. The same logic would then be applicable to Piacenza and Cremona, point three and point four on the map right here. Well, these two cities are located in what we call the Italian Food Valley. Well, we have 23,000 small medium enterprises operating within the food sector in this very area. So it makes perfect sense for Universita Cattolica to offer food-related programs in these two campuses right here. You could start with a bachelor degree in food production management, perhaps. You could then opt for a master of science in agriculture and food economics, a master of science in food processing, a master of science in sustainable viticulture and enology as well. And finally, yet not in terms of relevance, we can also apply this very logic to both Rome and Bolzano. Well, there are two hospitals. You have Gemelli in Rome and you have Claudiana in Bolzano. So obviously we're going to offer medicine and surgery in these two campuses. 6-year program entirely taught in English. We started offering medicine in Rome. It was more than 10 years ago, I think now. And the program in Bolzano is still brand new, as the upcoming year will be the second year of this program at Università Cattolica. In terms of, well, the actual programs that Università Cattolica offers, as we earlier saw and witnessed, well, we have 12 faculties. So it would be way easier for me to state what we do not offer rather than staying here and going through all of the programs and all of the faculties and everything. I mean, we're going to do that, but very quickly. Well, Università Cattolica does not offer engineering, architecture, or design. Other than that, Università Cattolica basically offers, if not all of the programs, I would have to say almost any sort of study program. You start with, well, we have agribusiness, we have banking, finance, and data science, we have communication and marketing, humanities, political science, medicine, and STEM. I did not miss business and management, but I would want to, let's say, dedicate a special mention to business and management because we are the university offering the largest number of programs in Italy within that subject area. And obviously, I'm a bit biased because I've studied business and management myself. When it comes to the undergraduate level, for all of you that are still in high school, maybe attending your second to last year, your last year maybe, and you're still figuring it out, maybe you've started an application already. Well, most of our programs are taught in Milan, where we have communication management, economics and management, we have finance, international relations and global affairs, psychology, and our brand new program in criminology. But obviously, we do offer programs in other campuses as well. So we have business and finance in Brescia. Quite of a new program, that one, because we started offering that one only last year. Then we have food production management in Piacenza and our two programs in medicine and surgery, one in Rome and the other one in Bolzano. When it comes to the graduate level now, so let's say you completed your bachelor studies, you graduated and everything. So now it's time to pick, let's say, either a Master of Science or a one-year master. Well, first of all, there are no rights and wrongs here, obviously. You know, it really depends on what you would want to study, what you have already studied, how much how much time you'd want to stay in Italy, and what's the outcome that you would expect from a specific program. Let's take the Master of Science, the 2-year graduate degree, as a matter of fact. It's it's quite of an academic focused program, study program, let's say. Yeah, it does give you access to a PhD. So if you might be considering, let's say, a career in academics, a career which would, let's say, benefit from a PhD, then probably the Master of Science would be the right choice. But then on the other hand, you also have the 1-year specializing masters, which are in comparison, rather practical, more professional focused, I would have to say, more on hands, let's say, a teaching approach focused. So it has a duration of 1 year, so that's a pretty clear difference right here. And all 1-year masters at Universita Cattolica give you the opportunity of also doing practical activities. Let's say it could be a consultancy project, it could be a group project, it could be a business lab, it could very well be an internship. When it comes to the internship, and well, consider this as a personal advice from myself as a non-Italian native, former international student. Italian is quite important. Like, Italian is not an actual entry requirement. You do not necessarily need to be like super proficient in Italian or have any Italian language certificates. You do not need Italian to attend lessons. If you were to be looking for a career in Italy once you've graduated, Italian does help you a lot. It contributes a lot to the eventual employability outcomes. And I think, this logic would be applicable to any other country, even if you were to pick, I don't know, Germany perhaps, or the Netherlands. Speaking the local language always helps. In terms of the actual academic offer now, as I said, I'm not going to go into all of these programs because we're talking about 50 something graduate programs, but let's have a look at the subject areas rather than focusing on the program itself. Well, we do have 4 Masters of Science and a specializing master when it comes to agribusiness. We do have 6 Masters of Science and 2 specializing masters when it comes to banking, finance, and data science. We have 3 specializing masters when it comes to marketing and communication, 1 Master of Science when it comes to the medicine subject area. We do have 4 Masters of Science and 1 specializing master when it comes to humanities. The huge macro area of business management, as we earlier mentioned. I've lost count of the programs related to business management, honestly, but we have 5 Masters of Science and 6 specializing masters. Then we can move on to political science with our 4 1-year masters and our program in physics, which falls within the STEM subject area. We're going to have a look at the specific timelines, the specific deadlines, and everything a bit later. But this is very important for you to know. If you might be considering a 1-year master at a certain point, the traditional intake in most Italian universities is like from September up to November. So, such as the programs that you see listed in this very slide. You start with corporate communication, international business, strategic management, as a matter of fact, or even cultural diplomacy. However, some of our 1-year masters, such as arts management or user experience psychology, our brand new, this is a good one actually, our brand new master in sports management, all these have a January intake on the other hand, with applications obviously opening a bit later and the program starting typically by the end of January. And well, being an Italian university, after all, we do offer plenty, and I mean it, plenty of Italian taught programs as well. Now, this is literally impossible to go through this list of programs because we're talking about something like almost 300 study programs. So you can either scan the QR code right here, you can drop us a visit at our international website, you can call our dear partners of Skylines. I'm pretty sure Evelina knows all the programs by heart, so she can tell you any sort of information, not only for the English ones, but for the Italian ones as well. Once you come at Università Cattolica, let's say you've made your choice, you've made your pick, you've applied, you've gone through the application procedure and everything. You are now at Università Cattolica. You've made it. You've started your study abroad journey. And again, this is rather an advice of mine, than an advice of the university. Do not consider that to be, your final destination. And I mean it can be any other university. I sure do hope it's Università Cattolica, but do not consider it as your point of arrival. Consider that as an amazing opportunity to travel the world, to also experience firsthand other environments, other universities, other countries as well. Università Cattolica has almost 700 international connections. Out of those 700, almost 600 are universities. Almost 3,000 student of ours study abroad each year. And, it could be a traditional exchange. It could be a short-term, I don't know, language course. You could do your final thesis abroad. You could also attend an internship at a partner company of Università Cattolica outside of Italy. You know, all of these contribute into creating, let's say, an amazing set of soft skills as well. But it's also fun. Like it's not only in terms of studying and learning new things, it all comes into terms of making new experiences, of enjoying completely different countries, first of all, from your home country, but then second of all, even when compared to Italy itself. You might not even be ready, for example, to come to Università Cattolica. Not everyone is ready. Not everyone goes through the very same decision-making process. You could opt for an exchange program at Università Cattolica. We do have more than 300 short-term programs entirely taught in English. But once you're there, we're going to make sure that you can experience the full package, let's say, even if you were to not pick any study abroad destinations or options, but especially if you were to go through, let's say, this sort of mixed journey one starting at Università Cattolica. You could opt for a double degree, as a matter of fact. You'd be obtaining 2 degrees instead of one. You would be saving yourselves quite some time. It can definitely be cost effective, and you would be attending two university, two different programs in two different countries. As a matter of fact, you could start studying business, you could start studying finance at Università Cattolica at our campus in Milan, and you would be obtaining our degree first of all. And if you opt for the double degree option, you could attend the remaining part of the program at our partners of Bangor University, obtaining their degree as well. You could opt for our double degree option with Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia, with our program in medicine and surgery. Well, you could opt Boston University if you're studying management, as a matter of fact. You could opt the North Carolina University if you're opting for statistical and actuarial sciences. You could opt, I don't know, Groningen University, as a matter of fact, if you are attending our program in banking and finance. Università Cattolica collaborates with universities such as these ones right here, but being almost 600, obviously there's no way I could fit them all in this very slide right here. So I would kindly invite you to even have a look at the website, just to understand of how infinite the possibilities can be once you are part of the international community at Università Cattolica. And now, the boring part, what I call the boring bureaucratical and administrative procedure, which luckily will be handled by Skylines. They're going to deal with all the documents, with all the requirements, with all the deadlines, with all the important communication coming from the university. But we can briefly have a look at the requirements, and then we can move on to the timeline and the procedure as well. As we mentioned earlier, you would need a minimum of 12 years of pre-university education. If you were to apply for a bachelor degree or even medicine, we're going to need you to have attended a minimum of 15 years of pre-university education if you were to apply for a graduate program. You would need to satisfy, obviously, the linguistic requirements. I mean, we need a B2 if you're willing to study in English. We're going to need a B2 again if you're willing to study in Italian. And this is very important to keep in mind. Some programs need a relevant academic background, would require you to have attended some specific programs. It could be either during your high school years or your bachelor studies. Let's say you would be applying for a bachelor in economics and management. You need to be excellent at maths. You'd be applying, let's say, for a Master of Science in banking and finance. You'd need to have an academic background in banking and finance. With all due respect, a psychology student would never be admitted into a Master of Science in banking and finance, and vice versa as well. Applications, as we speak, are open for most of our programs, with the exception of the January intake one-year masters. And well, applications are open for medicine and surgery, both in Rome and Bolzano, for our bachelor degrees, for our Masters of Science, and for our fall intake one-year specializing masters. You can just have a look at this very slide right here, to have a general idea of what the timeline at Universita Cattolica looks like. I would not even try and memorize all these dates, all these timelines and deadlines. I would rather visit the website or ask Skylines directly. But one thing that I can tell is that you have still quite some time to go on and proceed with the application for any program at Università Cattolica. The application procedure is, well, as easy as it gets, frankly speaking. You'd be creating an account as if you were creating any social media account ever. And it does not even require a two-step verification or any sort of, verification or weird procedures. We're going to need you to upload a few documents, which Skylines has by now memorized, I would have to say, after all these years. And well, that's basically it. You would be expecting to receive a feedback, typically 4 up to 6 weeks from each application deadline. And well, that's basically it. However, since we went through the timeline and the application procedure, I feel the need that some crucial information should also be shared at this point right now. If you were to remember anything from this presentation of mine, please remember that timing, please be advised that timing is crucial. Timing is indeed very important. And this is not some sort of cliche that like you should apply this by tomorrow, you should apply but tonight and everything. But it is very important, it is imperative for you to apply as soon as possible if you make up your mind that Cattolica is the right pick for yourself. And save the best for last, I suppose, when it comes to the fee structures and financial aid opportunities alongside scholarship opportunities at Università Cattolica. When it comes to the 3-year bachelor degrees, you would be looking at a tuition fee of 6,360 euros per year. If your annual family income is lower than 100,000 euros, same structure would be applicable to 2-year Masters of Science. You would be looking at a 6,600 euros per year tuition fee if, again, your family income is lower than 100,000 euros. There is a financial aid opportunity, which you can apply for, absolutely yes, but be very careful with the timeline of the application for the financial aid, as you would generally be applying for the program itself from December up until mid-May or June, and you would be applying for the financial aid option typically once the program has started. I would have to say usually by October, the first few weeks of October. You then have medicine and surgery, which has a flat fee of 18,000 euros per year. And last but certainly not least, depending on which 1-year master you would pick, you would be looking at a tuition fee that could range from 7 up to 14,000 euros for the duration of that specific master. Masters also offer merit-based scholarships. Generally speaking, they could cover around 30% of that tuition fee when it comes to the merit-based scholarship. So the financial aid, first of all, the one applicable to bachelor degrees or masters of science, is related to your family's income. The merit-based scholarship for the one-year master's is related to the quality of your application. So we're going to evaluate your academic background, your linguistic proficiency, motivational letters, reference letter as well. Having said that, hope to not have bored you to death these past 30 minutes. I'm also going to leave this slide here for a few seconds or a few minutes. If you want to save our contacts, have a look at our website, follow us on our social media as well. Why not? We would greatly appreciate it. And I noticed that we do have some questions, and I think we are ready to answer them, or at least try to answer them. Thank you so much for paying attention.
Good. Thank you, Ador. Thank you very much. Yes, there are a lot of questions. To some,
Right.
we're trying to answer in written, but now I'm gonna read it from the beginning. This is the
Sure.
best thing. Okay, there is a question from Alice. What is the price of a specialization in surgery, for example, at Universita Cattolica? Obviously, yeah, this is not
So,
the medicine program, the bachelor, but
all right. Yeah. Well, specializations in medicine and surgery are a completely different, super complicated and dark world in Italy. There are very few places available, frankly speaking. And the tuition fee really depends on the program that you would pick. I would have to say that you could, generally speaking, start from even lower than 6 or 7 thousand euros. However, if I were to give an advice of mine, and I don't know if you agree with me, Evelina, would be that of sharing the contacts of the relevant department at Universita Cattolica, so Elise can go ahead and ask any question to them directly.
okay. So shall I write something in the chat or maybe
I will,
later
I will, I will
on?
grab the contact right away and I'll share it with everyone.
Perfect, okay. Okay, everyone should know that we will send recording of the presentation and the webinar, so you will be able to watch it afterwards. Okay, it's hard to say what exactly the first this question for, because the question is from Julian or Julian. In the middle of the presentation, apart from the shown programs, are there any extracurricular activities? Maybe, yeah, apart from education,
Oh,
what
well,
else is offered?
Well, it really depends on what the student would define as an extracurricular. I mean, in terms of sporting activities, yes, we do have plenty of sporting clubs, starting from, yeah, obviously football, basketball, volleyball. We had a martial art teams as well, up until last year. We have a swimming team. We do have a few debate clubs in campus. We are part of the European Student Network as well, the ESN, which is basically this, I would call it like consortium of, European universities where students can gather together, even for just simply fun activities, just do not relate everything to the study program. And I don't know if I've answered the question. We do also have some part-time working opportunities within campus as well. You have foreign language courses within the campus. So yeah, I think they do make for quite a nice list of extracurriculars.
Yeah, thank you. There is a question from Irina. There are two students from the American University in Bulgaria.
In Blagoevgrad, I suppose, right?
Yes, I think. And they would like to apply for an exchange program. So they're asking for the next semester, fall semester, where they study journalism and business. And where can they find more information about the exchange opportunities?
Sharing it right away.
Okay.
Coming right away with the link. I just sent it here, I suppose.
If I scroll, I will lose where I've reached, but yeah, I can see it. Also, maybe they should contact the American University to check if they offer, or it's not necessary.
I mean, not necessarily check with the American University, but inform them, because I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they can help you with the procedure and with everything. I mean, and it's always better to, let's say, relate yourselves with your university's international office first of all, and then I'm sure that they will probably act as a liaison between your university and Cattolica.
Okay. A question from Anna. Is there an option when studying medicine to be accommodated in the campus residence next to the study place?
Exactly.
Are there
So
options for accommodation via the university?
when it comes to studying in Rome, actually we do have our own dorms, and we do have quite some availability, to be honest. So the usual procedure is you apply for the program, you sit for the entrance exam, hopefully you receive a positive admission feedback, and then you apply typically by May, mid-May, I'd have to say, for the university dorm. The university dorm is located, within the very same campus. So you have your classes super close, you have the hospital, you have everything within the campus. In terms of costing, you would be looking at something around 5,000, 6,000 euros per year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, thank you. Christian is asking, he's a first-year medical student in Bulgaria, and he's interested in transferring to Universita Cattolica, and is asking if there's such an option.
It really depends on how many students would withdraw from the current program. I do not have an answer right away, unfortunately, because typically we publish the available seats, if any, by June.
I'm just dropping a link that
All
there
right.
is an option to apply for transfer to the third year, but it depends on the availability for European, non-European students. So
Exactly. Exactly.
um,
And if I were to also add another piece of information, most of the times non-European seats become available.
okay, sorry, I'm just trying to find where I was.
Yeah, I can see the questions coming in like crazy.
The medicine, the campus, the question about transfer. Undergraduate students, a question from Victoria. Can they apply for exchange program too? Probably when she's
Oh,
when
yeah.
studying at Cattolica.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely, absolutely. Absolutely, you can apply for an exchange program. Again, I always, share personal advice or tips or instructions, when it comes to this sort of question. You can definitely apply. However, I would rather apply probably during the second year and not right from the first year. I mean, just let yourself get accustomed to an Italian university, to a brand new place, a brand new environment, a brand new country. And then during the second year, which is even in terms of academics, would feel a lot easier, you could opt for an exchange option. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and this is if you are a student at Cattolica. Maybe Victoria is a student elsewhere. So the
All right.
you said like a few minutes ago about exchange opportunities. You sent the link.
Exactly.
So
Very same link then. Very same
yeah.
link, very same section of the website.
Okay, thank you. Again, medicine. Martin is a second-year medicine student. Can he transfer? I think we already discussed this
Exactly.
about
The very,
transferring.
very same answer.
Yes, what are the taxes without scholarships? Is asking Valentina. Then I asked her which program. Then she said psychology or international relations. And then I sent a link to the
Exactly.
tuition fees and also a text in Bulgarian about the fixed rate if the student is studying, is living in
In a European
Bulgaria,
country.
for example, in Bulgaria, European country, and parents are earning their salaries from Bulgaria. So again, it's a flat fee. Okay, I continue because there are many questions. What is the acceptance rate for the medical cycles in both Rome and Bolzano?
Well, Medicine and surgery, it could be in Rome and in Bolzano, does not have a specific admission rate, unfortunately, because it really depends on whether you pass the entrance exam. It's not like we're going to evaluate your academic background or your high school grades or your linguistic proficiency. Okay, we do have a specific number of available seats, which is 40 for European citizens in Rome and 50 for European citizens in Bolzano. But yet again, that is not an admission rate, that is how many students we can actually enroll. I mean, last year was an exceptional year when it comes, to the exam scores that our students achieved. I mean, we had like plenty of 65 out of 65 exams, like perfect exams. So it really depends from year to year. I cannot really give an answer on the admission rate on such program. I could give an admission rate, like generally speaking, on bachelor degrees or masters of science, where we do evaluate a lot of applications and there is no entrance exam.
Okay, thank you. Julian is asking, I will graduate school next year. Does Universita Cattolica has an early exams? Maybe he's talking about early admission session, like when you are 11th grade, not finished
No,
school.
not really. No, we do not have that.
Okay. What are the requirements for admission for a bachelor degree in psychology in English? What are you looking into?
Oh, wow. So let me start without trying to scare you or whatever, that psychology is like crazy competitive, and Evelina knows that very well.
Yeah.
However, we're going to have a look at obviously your academic background. We're going to have a look at your grades. We're going to have a look at what you've studied, how well you've performed. We're going to have a look definitely at your linguistic proficiency. Always have a certificate at the moment of the submission. We're going to have a look at your motivation, which is a crucial component of the evaluation process. And psychology has an online interview as well with our faculty as part of the, let's say, application procedure. The bare minimum in terms of GPA is a 7.5 or even higher most of the times out of 10. But please keep it in mind that this is the bare minimum that we can consider. So you would need to actually have achieved quite of a higher GPA to be considered admissible. It is very competitive, frankly speaking.
True. And this answers the next question from Varvara. She's asking, continuing about the psychology, is there an internal entrance exam for the English one?
Not for the English one. The English one requires no entrance exam, so you have the interview, obviously. If you were, on the other hand, and thank you, Velina, for saying that, if you were to be considering the Italian taught program, on the other hand, please know that there's an entrance exam, an online entrance exam, obviously, but there's an online entrance exam that you would need to sit.
Okay. But keep in mind that you could apply only for one program. So you choose either psychology in English or
the other.
psychology in Italian. Maria is asking, are there any veterinary medicine programs in English?
Not really, unfortunately not. Only in Italian. And I do not think, maybe I'm wrong, but I do not think, as far as I know, that there are any English taught veterinary programs in Italy.
I also haven't heard of such a program in English. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is mine. Okay, Venezuela is asking, can you clarify what exactly means that you have partnership with other universities like Boston or California? What kind of partnership is this?
So the Boston University, as a matter of fact, is a partnership that involves our Master of Science in Management. Well, my program, let me say that I'm so proud of that, But yeah, typically these partnerships, these sort of agreements would allow our students or their students, let's say, to start studying at either institution and complete their program in either institution again. So if we were to discuss the Boston University agreement, so basically you attend the first year of the Master of Science in Management in Milan. at our campus in Milan. And then, should you opt for the double degree option, you would be attending the second year in Boston University, and you would be obtaining a Master of Science in Management from Universita Cattolica and a Master of Science in International Marketing Management, if I'm not mistaken, from Boston University.
This should be clearly indicated in the webpage of the
Oh,
program.
definitely. And if I may, I'm also going to share a link with all of our double degree options as we speak. So you can have a look at that part of the academic offer as well.
Okay, meanwhile, I'm reading the next question.
Definitely.
From Miglena, is it possible to apply for 2 different programs at the same time? For example, banking and finance and economics and management, obviously bachelor programs.
Unfortunately, not for the bachelors,
Not for
unfortunately.
the bachelors, but for the masters, yes.
Definitely
So,
for the masters, with a few exceptions, however.
yeah,
Like, for example, I know this is quite technical, but keep that in mind as it's important, you know. Communication for business, media, and culture cannot be considered a second choice. Super competitive, you know.
okay.
However, most of the other programs can be inserted as second choices. Your application will be evaluated for your first choice, let's say management, again, management. And should your application not be accepted for your first choice, it will then be evaluated for your second choice program.
Thank you. But guys, this is only for master programs.
Absolutely only for
If
masters.
you are a high school student applying for a bachelor, only one choice option.
Definitely.
What about the accommodation? Is asking Dimitar. You said a few things about the
Oh,
medicine
yeah.
students.
However, yeah, other campuses unfortunately are slightly different. And not in terms that, you know, we have nothing, like go away, leave us alone, find your own place. You know, we do work with some providers, we do work with some housing agencies. Even if you were to consider Milan, we do have some rooms, obviously. However, the availability is quite limited if I were to compare it to Rome. And if I were to give you an advice, like you can count on the availability in Rome, but if you were to study in Milan, please always have a plan B as well.
Yeah, because not only there is accommodation offered by Cattolica, but Cattolica has agreement with different
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
structures, let's say this
Absolutely.
way. And there is a web page for each campus with housing options, what is recommended by Cattolica. We at Skywines also share information. Sometimes we're like housing agency
Oh,
to
definitely.
connect students.
I would rather go through Skylines, frankly
Yeah,
speaking.
I'm joking, we're not a housing agency, but we connect students and we can offer some information in this regard.
Definitely.
Okay, but first be admitted. That's the most important thing. Do we have an English program in pharmacy?
Unfortunately not. And I think there are very few, like 2 or 3 English taught programs in pharmacy in Italy. We do not have it, unfortunately.
Okay, I missed the question. Can I apply for 2 different majors? Not double majors. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, the concept of major is, if I may call it so, is quite of an American concept. You know,
Yeah.
if I were to adopt the major concept
It's
to
a
our
program.
programs, yeah, it would be a program with. If I were to talk about a single program, then yeah, economics and management could be considered as a program with 2 different majors, but you either pick one or the other. So you're not majoring in 2 different programs, you
Yeah,
know?
but you pick it at the last year, in the
But
third
exactly,
year.
you pick it
Yeah.
at the third year. So yeah.
Yeah, if this was the question, I'm sorry if we didn't understand correctly. Um, which campuses, which campuses in the smaller cities offer a bachelor degree in psychology in English? This should only be Milano.
In Milan, yeah, psychology is
Milan.
only taught in Milan at Università Cattolica. The
And
the
what
English
is,
the English taught one.
yeah, okay. Dimitri is asking, do you have accounting focused program? I'm not sure if bachelor or master.
Not really. So we do not have a program which is entirely focused on accounting. Obviously, the program in economics and management, the program in business and finance, when it comes to the bachelors, have quite of a relevant component in accounting. If you move then on to the Masters of Science, then, well, you have banking and finance that you can consider, the program in management, actuarial and statistical sciences as well could be an option. All of these programs do have a lot of accounting credits.
Yeah, but it makes sense on a master level, but for a bachelor
It
level,
would be super specific to offer it as a bachelor,
yeah,
I think, according to me.
it will be too narrowing the options once you graduate.
Exactly.
Elena is asking, do you have a summer school in medicine or pharmacy?
Well, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure if we have it. But again, you need to be enrolled in a university to attend these sort of programs.
It's not like not graduated high school students who can
No,
join.
unfortunately not.
I think that was the question, maybe. Rosanna is asking, does the university offer its own language proficiency exam if there is no English certificate?
Not anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, but jokes aside, yeah, she's right. We used to have an internal exam, but it was like up until 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But we do not have that option anymore.
Okay. Evelina is asking, what are the scholarship options for medicine? How can one apply for them and what is required? I think
So
no scholarships were offered.
look, I will be super straightforward and super honest with this question. There are no merit-based scholarships for medicine and surgery. Theoretically speaking, you can apply for the financial aid, but theoretically speaking, because the program is way more expensive when compared to the other programs. And typically the income brackets that we would require from students to grant them a financial aid are quite low. So it does not make quite sense to be able to afford an almost 20,000 euro program, 20,000 euro per year program, and also be eligible for a financial aid. So yeah, theoretically, okay, you can apply. Nobody's gonna tell you to not apply. But frankly speaking, there's basically no chance.
Okay, this I think answers the next question, which is in Cyrillic. What percentage of the tuition fee could be reduced by the tuition fee for medicine program? What is the reduction? Yeah.
There's no chance for medicine, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, here are your links for the exchange program. Christian is asking, based on family income, what is the lowest the tax for medicine and surgery can get? Maybe from your experience, or yeah. I think we've already
I'm being super straightforward with medicine because I do not want to give any false hopes or any misleading information. I am yet to experience a student of medicine and surgery who has been awarded a financial aid from Educat.
Okay. Thank you to Irina. She's saying thank you. Veneslava is asking probably about the motivation letter. What should include? I'm not sure what program she's interested about, but each program has a list with documents, and it says which Cattolica motivation letter template should be used depending on the program. It doesn't matter if it is bachelor or master, master of science. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the templates in our website. No worries.
Yeah,
and if I can also add something, sorry to interrupt you, Evelina. I know that students always get creative, and I do respect them getting creative. But when it comes to the motivation letter, please make sure that you have fully understood the questions that we are asking you in the motivation letter, and please stick to the questions. You can get as creative as you wish, but stick to the questions, please.
Okay. Laura is asking, what is the acceptance rate for international relations program? Maybe she's asking how many places actually are available,
When it
or
comes to places, I think you know this better than me, Velina, but I think it's
it's,
around 50 or 55, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
it's too too small, the
Yeah,
number.
it's around 55, I think. And in terms of
Just opening and course details, class size, 75 students, of whom 55 are international.
all right. So, yeah, there are 55 international seats. The admission rate, well, I'd have to say that it jumps from year to year, but it's around, it could start from 19 up to 20 or 21%.
To be admitted in criminology or law, although only criminology is
English.
in English, what else do we need apart from diploma?
Well, so the transcripts, your high school diploma if you've already graduated, your linguistic proficiency certificate, please make sure to upload it at the moment of the submission, the motivation letter as well, and I mean your curriculum, which is pretty important. And obviously, as you already know, Evelina, include extracurriculars in your CV? Have you maybe done a standardized exam such as the SAT, perhaps included in the application? And generally speaking, everything you find worth mentioning. Consider that that application is going to be evaluated by some admission officers, you know, and apart from the academic component, you would want to impress them. So anything you find worth including, go ahead and include it.
Okay, thank you. Sophia is asking, could you please tell me what the exams are for business management with Italian?
You mean the exams as part of the curriculum of the program or entrance exams?
Maybe the entrance exams, because
So, yeah, no problem. So basically, when it comes to programs that would fall within the economics faculty, so you have economics and management in English, perhaps. You have economia gestione aziendale in Italian. You have economia aziendale in Italian as well. The most important admission criteria, let's have to say, the most defining factor is your math proficiency. You need to have basically grades in mathematics. If you do not have great grades in mathematics from your high school studies that you cannot show using your transcripts, basically, we would suggest sitting for the SAT. The SAT would compensate, let's say, your lack of math proficiency. If you were to sit for the SAT, a minimum of 560 for each section is required. If you have anything against the SAT, let's say you hate the SAT, you don't want to hear about the SAT or standardized exams such as the SAT, we do offer the opportunity for you to sit for our own sort of SAT exam. However, dates are not always favorable, unfortunately. We do not have, let's say, an unlimited seat availability for our exam. But if you were to consider our own exam, you can go through the website, which I think Elena also shared previously, the international.unicat.it, and you can find relevant information about the SATs, the minimum requirements, and our own exam as well.
Thank you, Ador. Martin is asking when a student can obtain a scholarship from the first semester or afterwards.
Well, when it comes to the financial aid from Educat, I think you are the expert here among us two. So I'm going to leave the floor to you.
Okay, basically, first you get admitted to Cattolica, then you decide to enroll, then spring comes or early summer, and you could start preparing your documents to apply for the income-based scholarship. Then you start your studies at Cattolica in September while completing the application for the scholarship. And around November, December, before Christmas, you are already aware if you get a scholarship or not. Then you don't see the scholarship until the second year. And then I think that's enough for now. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you need detailed information, you find the competition call through our website and Educat's website. So you can have and go read any sort of detail about it.
Okay. I'm not sure if we'll manage to read all questions until 10 o'clock, but I'm trying.
We're trying our best.
Yeah, are there programs for geographic information, GIS, geographic information systems?
Not really. Not really. Unfortunately, not. Those do not fall within our academic offer, unfortunately.
Okay, Dimitri is asking where are we going to send the presentation video? We're going to email you, all of you, not today, hopefully tomorrow by the end of the day with a recording, and also the chat will be recorded. Miglena is asking, is it possible to apply with SAT result, and is there a minimum score? You answered 500, 560,
yes.
the minimum score. Strongly recommended. If you do have an
Absolutely.
SAT, you get one head ahead
Definitely.
of the other applicants. Are there any privileges for IB students when applying for medicine? I think no.
Not really. You're gonna sit for the entrance exam just like anybody else. And I'm also going to answer this question keeping other programs in mind. Look, there are no privileges, if I can call them privileges, based on your academic curriculum. We evaluate each application, we give the required and needed attention to each application, no matter, the nationality, the residence, the kind of high school that the student has attended. Obviously, it's way easier for us to evaluate an IB transcript because it's in English, quite standardized, quite structured, that it might be to evaluate, I don't know, any other diploma. But there are no actual privileges, frankly speaking. It really depends on how strong your application is.
But if you successfully take the exam in medicine and are admitted, then it is really important to have an IB diploma to get enrolled. Without it, you cannot enroll at Cattolica or any other university.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need the IB diploma, definitely. The certificates are never enough.
Yeah.
That absolutely, yeah, that is 100% true. You need the actual diploma, but then you need to go through an evaluation process, which could be the entrance exam that we just mentioned for medicine and surgery, or an actual academic screening.
Thank you. What is the entrance exam for the medicine and surgery program? I think you talked about that.
So in terms of content, it has 65 questions in chemistry, biology, physics, math, logic, general knowledge. The exam is online and it should be, let me just grab the dates real quick so we can share that information as well. The exam is by mid-March for the program in Rome and by mid-May for the program in Bolzano.
Thank you. Konstantin is asking about the program economics and management. What exactly is needed, the needed overall score in mathematics to have any chance to be accepted, having in mind that his English certificate is C1, the Cambridge certificate.
Well done. Well done for the certificate. Well, mathematics, I don't know how to put it in terms of, high school grades, like 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 would be quite some nice grades to have.
Thank you. Is the medical entrance exam based on the same principle as the one in Bulgaria? I'm not sure the one in Bulgaria, how it is, by the way.
I have no idea, unfortunately.
I would say rather different. But really,
probably, I don't know, probably the components are similar, but I don't know about the structure at all.
honestly, me neither. I mean, I know more about the exam in Cattolica than the one in Bulgaria. Sorry, but we cannot. But you could read the information in the website of Cattolica. There is pretty much information clear about the content of the entry exam for medicine. Okay, I see my colleague Elena is answering to some questions also. Rosanna is asking, are entrance exams required for master's programs in English, or knowledge of the language and a completed bachelor degree is sufficient?
There are basically no entrance exams, apart from the official entrance exam for medicine and surgery and the official entrance exam for psychology in Italian. apart from those two, there are no entrance exam. We're going to evaluate, as we said, your academic background, linguistic proficiency, motivation, and references.
Perfect. I can see again, Elena has answered. Carlina is asking, my question is if I want to study international relations and how I study history in my high school, do I have to take an entrance exam? No.
No.
Yeah.
No, there are no entrance exams.
Yes, Barbara is asking, if I start studying in English, is it possible to transfer later to the Italian program?
Well, I mean, theoretically speaking, everything is possible. I mean, there's a procedure that you can go through and everything. However, you need to, pick, if not the very same program, a quite similar program to the one that you would be currently attending at that specific time. You would need to have obtained quite some credits to make the transfer possible. And then finally, but I would have to say this is the most important factor you need to keep in mind. It really depends on whether the other program would have any available seats.
Okay, thank you. Let me quickly answer to Julian because he's asking if the university is finding accommodation for students next to the university. Would the student cover the expenses or the university is covering the expenses? You would pay your tuition fee for the education and separately you pay the fee for the accommodation. They are not covered actually. Yeah. Okay, basically, this is the answer. What English proficiency certificates does the university recognize? And if applying before February, when will you receive your status and feedback? We don't know about which program, probably the bachelor ones.
Bachelors, I would have to say, yeah.
Yeah, like the certificates are mentioned in the website, IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge. There are a few exceptions, but you have to read carefully in the website. And you're giving 6 weeks
Yeah. So
after.
up to 6 weeks from the round's deadline.
Okay, so
We might even come a bit earlier in terms of feedbacks, but again, keep the 6 weeks as a general time frame in mind.
Okay, thank you. Iskren is asking, is there more than one date for entrance exam for medicine? In case yes, can we take better score or how it's working if there is online exam?
No, there's one single date for Rome, another single date for Bolzano. If we do have, let's say, a crazy number of students sitting for the exam, we might probably divide the exam session into two exam sessions, but you cannot take the exam more than once.
Okay. Elena is asking, can I transfer my credits from the old master's, which is not finished in the moment? And can I have a scholarship for your university? And what kind of scholarship?
Again, theoretically everything is possible. However, without transcripts in hand, without having clear information of what the student has studied, what the student is willing to study at Universita Cattolica, we cannot give a precise answer, like neither Evelina nor myself here. As for the scholarship, it depends. You're willing to attend a one-year master, you could have some merit-based scholarship options. You would be applying for a 2-year Master of Science, then the income-based financial aid would be your only option.
Okay. Boris is asking, for medicine, do you need to learn Italian to continue studying at Cattolica?
Well, not really. Italian is not a requirement. You do not need Italian to attend lessons. We do, on the other hand, offer some Italian language courses as part of the curriculum of medicine and surgery. And I do suggest learning Italian. Like, not necessarily for your clinical residency years, because you're going to be obviously shadowed. You're actually going to shadow a professor. Like the professor is not shadowing you, it's vice versa. But never mind. And you're gonna have English speaking professors, English speaking doctors, and everything. However, if you become a doctor in Italy one day, I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're gonna need some Italian proficiency because doctors aside, patients are not gonna always speak English.
Yeah, and honestly, if you are going to live in Italy and study, it's better to know Italian.
Absolutely, yes.
Barbara is asking for psychology. Do I need Matura, the exam for the diploma in biology or chemistry? And is it a problem if I don't have these subjects during the last 2 years at school? Can we answer no problem? It's not required.
Not necessarily, not in terms of requirements. If you have studied biology and chemistry, good for you. Well done. Always helpful. Very nice subjects. But yeah, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, because it's for Netherlands and for other countries,
Yeah,
this is
yeah, it makes
important.
perfect sense. Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
But for Italy, no. Elena is asking, I'm interested for masters in fields of leadership and psychology, pedagogical, and I have, do I need, sorry, I cannot understand the question.
Yeah, I think she wants to study psychology, something related to psychology as a master. In English, I think.
In English, yes.
Well, yeah, the only program that we offer at a master level in psychology is quite of a niche program, if I can call it, which is consumer behavior. That would be psychology applied to food, health, and environment. We do offer quite a few Masters of Science in Italian, on the other hand, which could be related to organizations, to marketing, to human resources, to children, to any given field, as a matter of fact, but only in Italian, unfortunately.
Okay. Irene is asking, where can we find the samples for the motivational letters? But for each program, there is a section with application procedure, and there you see listed the documents, and they would say if the template is for this program specifically, or you could use the general template, and you could download the template from there. Okay, a question from Iskran. Does exam for medicine is one for Rome and Bolzano? Meaning the same for Rome and Bolzano. And
Well,
can they apply for both locations at
You,
once?
you can definitely apply for both programs. Like even if you were to start an application right away, you will notice that you can apply for both of them. The exam structure is basically the same. The content is super similar, if not the same. However, there will be two distinct dates, as we said, one in March, the other one in May.
Yeah. Are there any age limitations for students who can apply for a scholarship, specifically master degrees?
I'd suppose it's the income-based, right? Financial aid. Here,
If it is for the 2-year master, it only be the income.
yeah, I don't know if there are any limitations, like they should be younger than some
Never.
specific age, not that I know of.
Me neither.
Not
But there
that I
is
know of.
specific call and information published, and
Yeah.
everyone interested in those scholarships should read around 30 pages and introduce
Yeah, good
themselves.
luck with that. Good luck with that.
Okay.
Evelina, sorry if I may, because we're talking about age and masters here. When you consider your age, it's not like age per se, it's a requirement or something or a limitation. However, consider the fact that, 2-year masters, 1-year masters are generally designed for newly graduated students. If you find yourself having a lot of working experience or having worked for, I don't know, 10 years or 11 years, the only program that I would feel comfortable into suggesting you would be our executive master in international business, which is specifically designed for professionals who have a lot of working experience.
Okay, thank you. Very good point. I'm skipping the Duolingo question because it is not accepted. I can see Elena has continued answering to specific questions. Martin is asking again for the transfer to medicine in third year. When will the 2005 and 6 be available?
If available, I would have to say usually in June.
Okay. Okay, can we have the Duolingo again? Duolingo is not accepted. Does Skylines provide loans? No, unfortunately, we do not provide loans to students. From which course it is possible to engage in scientific activity, research, etc.
Well, medicine.
Yeah, this comes from Varvara. I really don't remember which program was she.
Medicine, clearly, psychology, obviously.
Yeah.
And research, research is a huge umbrella. Everything, a lot of stuff could fall within, the research term. You could do research even if you study economics, even if you study history, even if you study humanities, political science. Nobody's gonna forbid you to do research. If you then are talking about purely scientific activities, psychology and medicine are the most obvious answers.
Thank you. Can the entrance exam be used for other universities too? If for the medicine, no.
No,
This is
it's not the IMAT. This is our own exam.
Yeah, and I think we just finished all the questions in the
Wow.
chat. There are two in the Q&A session, but I think we answered them. Yeah, those were answered live during the reading the chat questions.
All right.
Yeah.
Well done, us.
I think we're ready. Maybe some other questions coming. Is B2 level of English from my diploma enough for the transfer? Do I need a specific certificate? Maybe it's about the medicine transfer, I think.
So, if Martin is referring to him attending English language courses during his studies at the university, then that specific score is not enough. You need an actual certificate. If your program was entirely taught in English, then yeah. But again, the transfer from medicine and surgery have different entry requirements most of the times. So have a look at the link that we shared, please. Have a look at it, quite a careful look at it. And yeah, fingers crossed, maybe some seats will become available.
Yeah, thank you. And I think I'm gonna read the last question now,
Sure.
which is from Iskren. Ranking for medicine, how is done in case of same exam results?
Well, that's quite rare, to be honest. I don't know if it has ever happened, but we're going to have a look at, the overall score, first of all, then the scores within the biology section, within the chemistry section, within the math section, physics section, and so on, to
Thank you.
define which one will basically get in.
I think maybe he is referring to the IMAT, the way that IMAT is considered in age matters there. I think a priority was given to...
Age is basically our last priority. But it will never happen. Come on, let's be realistic.
Okay.
Like there's no chance
Yeah,
that
yeah.
two students will have the same score, then the same score in biology and physics and chemistry and everything,
Okay.
And maybe the same age as well.
Okay, I don't know if we should actually end now, but because the few questions popped out. What other scholarships are there? I think we already answered about that. Can you be accepted with only a diploma? It depends on the program.
Really, it really depends.
About the masters, do we have a study do we have to study bachelor, or we can study masters directly? Well, there are some programs in Bulgaria which are single cycle degree. Like law or...
like medicine and law in Italy as well.
Yeah.
If you're referring to those programs, then yeah, definitely. You finish high school, you go ahead and you study medicine. Architecture is another, example. We do not have it, but the architecture could be an option.
Yeah. Basically, you have to have a bachelor degree to continue
Attend a
with a
master.
master. Yeah. Are there any programs that require an English Cambridge higher than B2? Maybe we're not sure about the bachelor is the question, or the master program.
Look, some masters of science do require actually slightly higher linguistic proficiency, but slightly higher would not mean that you would have to go from a B2 to a C1. Like the art and industry of narration, as a matter of fact, Evelyn, I'm sure you know this, would require slightly higher linguistic proficiency. But again, it will fall within the B2 score.
Well, that was the end, I think, of the questions. Thank you very much, Ador.
Oh, come on. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And we will send those
Oh,
course to you
we have
here.
one last question. Yes,
Is
Cambridge is accepted.
definitely. Okay, so Dimitar is going to say a few words.
Definitely.
Well, that's what I wanted to say is that we will send this presentation because it's recorded to everybody who are interested in it. And I would like to thank you very much, Ador, for your
Come on, it's a pleasure
kind
always.
presentation and for your time.
Thank you
Thank
for
you very
making
much.
it happen. And well, we're always here to help you with anything. And well, have a nice evening, I guess.
You
You
too.
too, Ador.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.